Ladies and gentlemen, the courts have spoken, and as we indicated last week, we will respect and follow the decision of the court. We expect that the occupiers that have gone to the courts will also respect that decision. From time to time, we hear people using a kind of rhetoric that indicates that some will not follow the decision of the court, and we are concerned about that because that kind of division invites violence and chaos, and that is the one thing that we seek to avoid. I want to reiterate, the Church supports the message of economic justice that has been raised by the Occupy movement around the globe. But the Occupy movement is not a movement of St. James Cathedral. Therefore, while we have been hospitable and we have had a remarkably cordial relationship with people in the park, and we continue to foster that, nevertheless, Occupy Toronto is not an extension of the Cathedral's program, any more than Amnesty International, who will have their big meeting here, I think it's next week. We are hospitable, we are sympathetic to what they have to say, but it's not a part of our program. So what I'm saying is that we will be cooperating with the city. I've been in touch with Joe Panicetti, the city manager, today on a number of occasions. We are in touch with Councillor McConnell's office, and we are in consultation with the police and with the Occupy Toronto folks. Our prayer, our hope, our expectation is that this can be resolved smoothly, and I actually believe it can. We have been fortunate at every stage of this event to have had a measured response from all parties, and I trust that that will continue.
On the weekend, sir, the occupiers have come up with a title deed and all this kind of stuff about who the division is, and now they're saying the church is sort of abandoned, and then in their hour of need, perhaps you could just address.
No, I've been quite explicit on that even last week. The cathedral has a clear title to a portion of the park. The city has clear title to a portion of the park, but the public use of the cathedral land is subject to the arrangement which has been in place and has been used in some form or fashion for over 50 years. And at the heart of that arrangement is that the park is one park. It's cathedral property and city property, but we use it as a seamless garment, from Church Street to Jarvis, from Adelaide to Front. It's a park for the entire city.
What about the contention that the church is now abandoning them in the hour of greatest need?
We are not abandoning them. We have said all along precisely what I've just said. We're going to follow what the courts rule, and we ask and expect them to do the same.
If the church wanted to, could you let them stay on that part of the park? That's
hypothetical. We have said, and we're consistently reiterating, that we work with the city. We want to maintain the park as a single park and not some sort of balkanized presence in the middle of Toronto. No division. Open park.
Up until an hour ago, people were still talking about using that part of the land. So the message didn't seem to have got to them that was going to happen.
I often have trouble getting the message across.
Were you aware that it was specifically mentioned in court that the court decision was only in regards to the city property and not the church property?
I have not read the document, but the way that we have worked, I think that's probably because it was only the city involved in the action and we were not. But what I'm saying is that the city and the church have worked together for over 50 years. We're working together today, and we're working together for the people of the city, Toronto, and visitors to come to a park that's seamless and a park that is, I think, one of the most beautiful spots in the city.
What portion of the park does the church actually have a title to?
The portion that's closest to the cathedral, and the city has a part that's closest to St. James, to Jarvis. Exactly where that line is, that could be done with a surveyor. I haven't got a surveyor's map here, but in a sense, practically speaking, the division does not exist.
Did the church request the city to issue the notices today?
No, we work with them. We do not instruct the mayor or the city. We collaborate.
Why was it on church letterhead?
Oh, that was the portion of, because we are told that because there are two very clear titles regarding the park, that both parties had to issue the statement that you are referring to.
Why was the decision made to have the police enter the park and post the notices today as opposed to church staff going in?
The church staff would never be doing it. I don't think it was done by the police. I believe the city said it was done by parks people.
There was a bylaw officer escorted by several police.
No, we were not a party to that.
I just need to understand something, sir. So are you saying that in order for the police to act on this side of the church's property, you need to give permission for that?
Yeah, and we've given permission.
So you've given permission for them to...
We're following the instruction of the court.
So in a sense, the protesters are correct in they saying that the church could have said no.
I suppose it could have, but we've said from the beginning, we're working with the city. We have a coordinated approach, and that's what we've done.
Do you wish you could go back 5.5 weeks or so and take away that decision that allowed them to set up here in the first place?
No, I do not. They came here to express a genuine concern, a concern which resonates with us about social justice. I believe that it has been an opportunity to be expressed, and it has been expressed. I believe the actual occupancy of the park has probably changed somewhat over the last several weeks, which brings up the issue that I've raised before. We are very concerned about people who are particularly vulnerable, who are in the park, and we don't want them exposed to, sort of the kind of pressures that could emerge. We have worked with the city. There is a hostel that's working with the vulnerable who want help, and they're doing it, but we have been a part of that, not even negotiation, but that conversation, because there's nothing to negotiate. We all want people to be safe, especially the most vulnerable.
Is it the end of the church's relationship with the Occupy movement, or do you plan to have further contact with them?
I cannot imagine it will be the end, because I think it's an issue of social and economic justice. And the church has made a commitment, we are making a commitment, to find ways in which that conversation can continue. The church has many connections right across the spectrum of society. And I would hope that as we go forward out of this into the next phase, that the cathedral will be able, with other people, with Councillor McConnell and people like that, to continue the dialogue, but where we can bring people in from Bay Street as well as High Street, but to bring people together to discuss seriously and intelligently something that is a concern to any intelligent person who lives around the globe. And that is huge economic disparity that's grown up, a sense that governments are not responsible, a sense that financial institutions get away with all kinds of stuff. And that is what we are committed to continue, that discussion, because that is a part of what we believe the gospel to be. It's about justice for all people.
Are you going to do anything to try to speak to the people to prevent the violence? Some of the occupiers tell us that they are not leaving, and so this leads to the inevitable of the police coming in and actually forcing them out. Are you going to address these groups?
We have been talking with groups of people from the park from the beginning. We have always found them reasonable, sensitive, and it has been really quite remarkable to work with them, because with an event like this, it can get frayed at the edges, but they have shown tremendous restraint, which I respect and appreciate, and I believe, and I must say, I truly hope that that kind of approach will continue as we go forward. This is not the end of anything. I believe that we're moving into a new phase, a new stage of the discussion, a stage that is absolutely fundamental and needs to take place. And people, like the head of the Bank of Canada has said so. Our president, one of the presidents of one of the banks on Bay Street has said so. This is an issue. And unless we hear what people are saying, and unless governments and financial institutions can take steps to ameliorate it, then we would be in trouble. So that's why I'm committed to continue the dialogue, to continue talking. Councillor Pam McConnell has been a part of that, and she is so strong on that. I truly admire her for all of that. But we're going to continue to talk and try to get to the bottom of the issue.
How is the church going to continue the dialogue when the occupiers are being moved out of the park?
Well, they're not, as I understand it, they're not being moved out of the park. They're being asked to remove structures from the park, and they're being asked to respect the hours that the park is open. And that's really in the interest of people who live around and about.